The unexpected return. It always happens when you least expect it. One day, you're going about your life, focused on work, hobbies, or maybe even someone new. And then, her name pops up on your phone. A text, a call, or even a social media notification. It's been months, maybe even years, yet here she is, reaching out as if no time has passed. A flood of emotions rushes in. Excitement, confusion, hesitation. Why now? What does she want? People return for different reasons. Some feel genuine regret for how things ended. Others come back out of loneliness, missing the comfort of having someone who once cared. Sometimes it's not about you, it's about them wanting to ease their guilt, to see if they still have a place in your life. And then there are those who simply act on impulse, nostalgic for the past without considering what really went wrong. This moment is crucial. How you handle it can determine whether you walk back into an old cycle or move forward with clarity. In this script, we'll explore the real reasons why she's back, how to analyze her intentions, and most importantly, how to make the best decision for yourself. 2. Why is she back? Understanding her motives. When an ex suddenly reappears, it's natural to wonder why. Has she realized she made a mistake, or is there something else driving her return? Understanding her true motives is the key to deciding your next move. People come back for different reasons. Some genuinely regret how things ended and want to make things right. They've reflected, grown, and truly want another chance. Others return out of loneliness. They don't necessarily miss you, but they miss the feeling of having someone who cared. Then, there are those who come back purely out of curiosity. They don't want to rekindle the relationship, but they want to see if they still have an emotional hold over you. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that just because an ex returns, it means they want something meaningful. Missing someone is not the same as valuing them. It's easy to feel nostalgic about the good times while forgetting the real reasons why things ended. The question isn't just whether she misses you, it's whether she has changed in a way that makes the relationship worth reconsidering. Pay attention to her actions more than her words. Is she making an effort to prove she's changed, or does she only reach out when she's feeling lonely? Does she acknowledge past mistakes, or is she avoiding difficult conversations? Analyzing her behavior will tell you if she's genuinely invested or if she's just looking for temporary comfort. Before making any decision, take a step back and evaluate. Is she back because she truly values you, or is she just afraid of being alone? 3. Your first reaction. Stay calm and think clearly. When an ex reaches out, your first reaction sets the tone for everything that follows. It's easy to let emotions take over, whether it's excitement, anger, or confusion, but reacting impulsively can lead to regret. Instead, the key is to stay calm and think clearly before making any moves. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that just because an ex comes back, it means they should immediately respond with open arms. Take a step back and ask yourself, do I even want this? Often, when people are caught off guard, they focus so much on their ex's return that they forget to check in with their own feelings. Do you still have unresolved emotions for her, or is this just nostalgia playing tricks on you? It's crucial to observe her actions instead of just listening to her words. Words are easy. Anyone can say they've changed, that they miss you, or that they made a mistake. But what does her behavior show? Is she making an effort to rebuild trust, or does she just expect things to go back to how they were? Is she genuinely apologizing for past mistakes, or is she avoiding the difficult conversations? Another mistake people make is rushing back too quickly. Just because she's returned doesn't mean you need to instantly forgive, forget, or rekindle the relationship. Give yourself space to process everything. Sometimes, an ex returning isn't a sign to restart. It's an opportunity to find closure and move on with clarity. Lastly, don't ignore red flags. If she hurt you before and is now making the same excuses or avoiding accountability, that's a warning sign. People don't change overnight. If her return feels rushed or forced, trust your instincts. Before making any decision, ask yourself, is this truly what's best for me? 4. The big question, should you give her another chance? When an ex returns, One of the biggest dilemmas you'll face is whether or not to give her another chance. The heart may pull you in one direction, but logic must guide your decision. Before jumping back into something familiar, take a moment to ask yourself, are the problems that led to the breakup truly fixable? It's easy to get caught up in the idea of rekindling what once was, but what's more important is whether things can actually work this time. If your breakup was caused by deep-rooted issues, trust, emotional immaturity, or fundamental incompatibilities, what has changed? Has she done any real work on herself, or is she just feeling regret? Regret and growth are two different things. Regret says, I wish things didn't end like that. Growth says, I have worked on myself so I don't make the same mistakes again. One of the biggest traps people fall into is mistaking nostalgia for a second chance. Missing someone doesn't mean they are right for you. Just because you both share good memories doesn't mean the relationship will be any different this time. Ask yourself, am I being pulled back because I truly see a future, or am I just reminiscing about the past? A logical approach is necessary here. Instead of making an emotional decision based on what feels good in the moment, think long-term. If you do decide to give her another shot, it should be because she has proven, through actions, not words, that she is different. If the same patterns are likely to repeat, then it's not a second chance, it's just a repeat cycle. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. A second chance should only happen if it genuinely aligns with your happiness and future, not just because it feels comfortable or familiar. 5. Setting boundaries. Don't repeat the same mistakes. If you're considering letting her back into your life, one thing is certain. You cannot afford to make the same mistakes. Without setting clear boundaries, you risk falling into the same patterns that led to the breakup in the first place. The truth is, love alone isn't enough. A relationship needs structure, respect, and mutual understanding to thrive. The biggest reason exes fail when they try again is that they expect things to be different without actually changing anything. If you both fall back into old habits, the same issues will resurface. That's why setting clear expectations is crucial. What do you need from her this time? What will you absolutely not tolerate? If trust was broken before, how will she prove she's changed? These conversations aren't easy, but they're necessary. Communication is everything. You must make it clear what you expect moving forward. If she genuinely wants another chance, she should be willing to have these discussions openly. If she avoids accountability, makes excuses, or tries to rush things, that's a red flag. A real second chance isn't about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about learning from it. Most importantly, you need to be willing to walk away if things don't feel right. Boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. If she starts showing the same behaviors that led to the breakup, don't ignore them. Your peace and emotional well-being should come first. If she truly values being back in your life, she will respect your standards. A second chance should not mean lowering your standards or forgetting the lessons you learned. It should mean building something healthier, stronger, and more intentional. If that's not happening, then it's not worth it. 6. What if you've moved on? Handling it with maturity. Not every story needs a sequel. Sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is leave the past where it belongs. If you've already healed, grown, and moved forward with your life, then the question isn't whether she deserves another chance, it's whether revisiting the past serves you in any way. The reality is, not all exes return because they want to rekindle something meaningful. Sometimes, they come back because they feel lost, lonely, or regretful about their own choices. But their feelings don't have to dictate your future. If you've genuinely moved on, then you owe it to yourself to protect your peace. Entertaining her return out of guilt, nostalgia, or curiosity could disrupt the progress you've made. That doesn't mean you have to be cold or dismissive. If she reaches out, you can let her down with kindness and clarity. A simple, I appreciate you reaching out, but I've moved on and I'm in a really good place, is more than enough. You don't owe a long explanation, nor do you have to reopen emotional wounds just to give her closure. Your well-being is the priority. There's a certain strength in being able to say, I've healed, and I'm happy where I am. It's a sign that you've done the internal work necessary to grow beyond the past. Moving on isn't just about finding someone new, it's about finding yourself and realizing that your happiness was never dependent on her return. Some doors are meant to stay closed, And that's okay. The past served its purpose, taught its lessons, and shaped who you are today. Looking back might feel tempting, but if you've already built something better for yourself, why risk undoing it? Sometimes, the best response is simply to keep walking forward. 7. The final decision: choose what's best for you. At the end of the day, the choice isn't about her, it's about you. Whether you decide to give her another chance or walk away for good, it should come from a place of clarity, not pressure, guilt, or unresolved emotions. This is your life, your happiness, and your future. The biggest mistake people make when an ex returns is making a decision based purely on emotions. Yes, nostalgia is powerful, and yes, the comfort of familiarity can be tempting. But ask yourself, does she align with the future you want to create? Has she truly changed, or is this just a temporary moment of regret? Are you willing to risk going through the same cycle all over again? If you choose to give her another chance, do so with boundaries and clear expectations. Love alone isn't enough. Mutual growth, respect, and effort are what make relationships work. Make sure the same mistakes won't repeat themselves. On the other hand, if your gut tells you that moving on is the right choice, trust it. Growth means recognizing when something no longer serves you, no matter how much history you share. The most important thing is that your decision comes from a place of strength, not fear. Fear of being alone, fear of regret, or fear of missing out can cloud your judgment. But when you truly know what you want and where you're headed, making the right choice becomes easier. Whether you rekindle the relationship or close that chapter for good, trust yourself to make the choice that's best for you. 8. Conclusion: the power of your choice. No matter how things unfold, the most important thing to remember is that you are in control now. Whether she returns out of regret, loneliness, or genuine change, the final decision rests with you. You are no longer the person who once waited for answers. You now have the power to decide what's best for your future. Life moves forward, and so should you, with clarity and confidence. Choose what aligns with your growth and happiness. Have you ever been in this situation? What did you do? Let's discuss in the comments.